Cowboy Nation, the Dallas prospect, everywhere you guys already know. We're going to get this thing going one way or another. We're going to have Big Game James, Silver and Blue Nation into the mix, as well as the sponsors that we trying to corral together and bring everything together. But let me go ahead and get this thing started. Go ahead, James, not James, DDP. Go ahead and tell them who you are and all this stuff, man.
What's up, guys? This is DDP from the Dallas Prospect, and I am ready to talk a little bit of Cowboys Texans here. You know, it's not too often that we actually get to face the Texans, just being that they're in the AFC. I mean, I think we have like, what, 5, maybe 6 all-time matchups?
Probably so, yeah, 5 or 6. Not a lot.
Yeah,
Every 8 years or something like that. That's when we play them. Yeah,
it's exceptionally rare. The last time we played them was 2014. That was the Tony Romo spin out of the J.J. Watt sack, and then he throws like the 20-something yard touchdown pass to Terrence Williams. Back when we thought Terrence Williams was still pretty good, you know. But yeah, it's interesting just to see. It doesn't feel that long ago in a way. You know, 2014, you don't think about it that long ago, but you didn't have Dak as your starter. You didn't have Zeke as, you know, I mean, not even starter. You didn't have him on the team. You didn't have Zeke. I mean, you don't have Jason Witten. I mean, Dez is gone. Like, it's a completely different team from the team that the Cowboys fielded the last time they faced the Texans. So interesting to look at. It's all new matchups effectively.
No doubt, man. But I guess is this the same coach though, right?
Yeah, for Dallas, yes.
Oh, I'm talking about for the Texans. So they have a different coach now, right? That's what you mentioned.
Pretty I think so. I will a new coach now. Maybe not. Maybe that was his first year and he's just still there. Something like that. But
similar to that. Okay, well, hey, it is what it is. We can just go back to the root of their philosophy. They're a defensive-minded team, I think, and I think that they're the thing is with them is that they got 2 guys that's coming out the edge that's going to be able to wreak havoc. If we have one of those games where it's Lyle Collins is not focused right, or if my guy Tyron Smith, if he having back issues, they're going to lick their fingers and say, okay, we're going to eat today. You know, that's how the Texans are going to look at it if those guys are not stepping it up. So we're going to have one of those clean, penalty-free games, and we're going to have to step it up in order for us to win. They're going to have to step this thing up.
Absolutely. And, you know, there's some interesting kind of stats that set the table for what you were just saying. First of all, Lyle Collins, as you mentioned, he's going to be drawing J.J. Watt for this game. But J.J. Watt, even though he's having a great year, he's got 5 sacks already, I believe. He's having a bounce-back year after a couple down years due to injury. I don't know that he's the J.J. Watt of old, the guy that could get like 20.5 sacks, but he's still very effective for them. He's got long reach. Look for him to get a strip sack or something like that, sack fumble. But in addition to having to worry about him, the real guy that you should worry about is Jadeveon Clowney, who I think is actually a better all-around pass rusher for the Texans at this stage now than Watt. He's the guy that I think you're really going to have to account for.
Yeah, he mentioned on I guess it was like an interview earlier today, that he played against Dak Prescott when he was in college. And he said Dak Prescott is a natural runner of the ball, things like that. So we're really going to have our hands full on him. We already understand that. But let me see if I can move that interview around and see if I can put this on the screen.
I played against Dak. What's it like?
I played him in college. He's going to run here, big quarterback, physical guy. He like to run the ball. I'm just looking forward to the matchup.
And
probably one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. We got some guys up front that can go. A lot of Pro Bowls up front. I mean, we got some guys up front that can go too. So it's gonna be a good matchup or a game.
On the fly.
You know, he's got to come play. 4-quarter games. Gonna come down. I played him in college. Got to bring it. You can run here, big quarterback, physical guy. Like to run the ball. Just about this game? Yeah, I know, man. This is probably one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. Which all of them are big, but this one pretty big. Guys up front game, we need to win at home. going against a rivalry, to us a rivalry because Dallas losing game. So, like I said, we got to be ready. We got to come play this week. 4-quarter game. It's going to come down to it. We just got to bring it and get ready for a long fighting game on Sunday. Yeah, I do. I hear a lot of them, too. Yes, America's in one team, so. I know, man. It's going to be a good matchup for us. We just go ahead and get ready for a 4-quarter battle. Home game, we need to win at home. Going against a rivalry, to us a rivalry. Nighttime. Dallas, we don't play at night a lot. So prime time, we got a game on at that time. Matchup this week. Of course, everybody gonna be amped up, looking forward to this game. And
right. So what he was talking about, I don't know if I was able to hear him, DDP. But what he was saying out of the game is the fact that this is a big game for them. It's one of those things. It's an in-state rivalry game. They're gonna look at it as if it's the Super Bowl or a playoff game. And they come with it because he said for sure they need a home game win. I think that they have yet to win a game at home. They won their first game last week, and that was on the road. Is that correct?
Yes, believe so. Yes, they have one win to this point. I believe it was last week against the Colts. I want to say yes.
Mm-hmm. And Andrew was able to put up. That's Andrew Luck. I think he was still able to put up 400 yards or something like that. So.
Okay.
And I heard that Andrew Luck's arm is not, all the way attached, not all the way together. So
yeah, they've had a couple times this year where they had to throw like a Hail Mary at the end of a game, and they've had the backup come in to throw the pass.
So as much as I guess collectively Cowboys Nation like to throw hate and salt at Dak Prescott, I think that Dak Prescott can throw the ball deep down the field and challenge their defense to open up this defense and make them play honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about this game to me to really keep an eye on, I mean, the Cowboys, the offensive line play hasn't been exactly what we had hoped yet, but it's early in the season. You're playing without, as good as Joe Looney has been, you're playing without your perennial all-pro center. You're playing with a rookie, I should say, in at left guard as well. So he's had some issues, although I do think he's been better. I think people are focusing a little too much on the negative we've seen every now and then with Connor Williams. I think he will be just fine. I think overall he's been serviceable and about what you would expect given the circumstances. And, people want to point to Tyron Smith and how he's, people see the blow by that you saw like in Seattle early in that game. But the thing is, according to Pro Football Focus, Tyron has given up the second fewest pressures on the quarterback this season among tackles. So he's been still pretty solid, about as solid as you can literally be according to that measurement. But it's one of those things where the Dallas offensive line has to Dak. The 2 wins at home, which bucks the trend of them being road warriors, has been the case for the past several years. With them at home, their 2 wins, they were against teams that weren't able to get pressure on Dak. The Lions sacked Dak 3 times, but it never looked like he was running for his life. And the Giants were without Olivier Vernon and weren't able to apply the kind of pressure we've seen them apply on Dak in the past. So those are Dak's 2 better games of the season. What 2 teams caused nightmares for Dallas? Seattle and Carolina, teams that can rush the passer. Well, guess what? Houston can rush the passer as well as anybody pretty much between Watt and Clowney. And so they're going to have to account for that. But it goes the other way as well because Houston has a terrible offensive line. Their run game's not that good because they can't get any push up front. And they've allowed Deshaun Watson to be sacked 17 times in 4 games. Now, for comparison's sake, Dallas has given up 13 sacks or 13 or 14 sacks, I believe, of Dak Prescott. But it's getting pressure on the quarterback and trying to win that battle up front. And that, to me, suggests it's going to be probably a low-scoring game.
Yeah, so I can understand what you're saying with this as far as pressure in the face of Dak Prescott and how he managed to just play very below the average when he has those type of pressure in his face. So this is the thing. The best thing that we can do is, like you said, with the run and attack. If we are able to run at these pass rushers, And then what that would do is they'll bring those safeties down into the box. They'll bring those linebackers a little bit, sneaking down and looking up into the backfield. And if we can challenge those guys by running play action, then pass the ball deep. I know it sounds like old classic football. You run and then you set up the run, set up for the pass. But that's what we're going to have to do because they got these guys. And then on top of that, my guy number 11, Cole Bees, he's going to be covered with the Honey Badger. I think the Honey Badger is going to have to be on him in the inside. So they're going to have to figure out a way to attack with Ezekiel Elliott, soften that box up a little bit, and have everybody coming in to the top, over the top, and everything like that, and then attack them over the top with deep passes down the middle and over the seam routes.
Absolutely, and I've got a couple more stats on the front for the Texans that I forgot to mention earlier. First, they allowed 7 sacks against the Colts last week. So that's a line that can be had. Dallas adding Irving back plus DeMarcus Lawrence, who is currently leading the league in sacks with 5.5. And, I don't know what, if anything, we're getting out of Randy Gregory right now. But you got to think the return of Irving should only make things a little easier for him even yet. So maybe he can get involved and make a little bit more of an impact. But the defensive line for Dallas will get better anyway. And hey, there's always the fact that through 4 games, Houston has allowed pressure on the quarterback on 44% of their offensive snaps. That's a massive number.
Wow, it is a massive number with all the pressure and everything. Hopefully, like I said, if you give the ball, feed the baby, Ezekiel Elliott, feed him. Let him be a big fat baby out there come Sunday night. And then on top of that, Javion Clowney in their interview, I didn't play it all the way throughout, but he said towards the latter part of the interview there is that it's a primetime game, and they rarely play on prime time. And he's saying that this might be an opportunity for them to get out there and stretch their legs out at night. It would be a first time in a long time that they're playing on prime time, and we should be used to playing on prime time. So with that experience, although this is a young team, the Dallas Cowboys, I think there's a weird stat out there last game that there was the first team in the last 40 years or something like that to ever play, first team in the last 40 years to play with no one over the age of 30, so that Ladisor, but there was the stat far as starting and this sort of thing, far as skill players. So
and Ladisor is the only 30-year-old who was active because Sean Lee was inactive with the injury. So yes.
So I mean that's something special out there as far as the young team. And I said earlier,
I see we're not live on the Prospect YouTube for whatever reason.
Let's see what's going on with that.
Here, I'm on Facebook, not on here or reading it, pinging the stream key. I don't know if it's something that can be adjusted on the fly. If not, then fine. We'll make do.
All right, let's see what we got here. But yeah, go ahead and talk to me about. Yeah, go ahead.
So as I was saying, I think the turning point of this game is going to come in who can win the battle of the trenches, because the Houston are pretty dreadful. They can't really establish much of a run game, even though I think that they have a pretty good running back with Lamar Miller. They just can't get a whole lot done with him. And the main thing for Dallas is going to be get pressure on and just try and make life miserable for Deshaun Watson, because Deshaun Watson, he's still being a pretty damn good quarterback this year, even with all the pressure he's facing, even with the lack of run game. So if you can try and keep him and DeAndre Hopkins in check, yeah, we're live. What's up, guys? You guys are live on YouTube. Okay. I guess we are live here then. What's up, guys? It wasn't showing up for me for a reason, but I don't know.
But it's showing now.
Yeah.
Though,
so
right?
if you, yeah, comments are coming in, and now it looks like it's there, so we're good. But yeah, for whatever reason, or if you can get pressure, this is number one cornerback with regard to completion percentage and everything against him. I mean, the Lions didn't throw at him once last week.
Well, this is the thing. You got a freakish, So the thing is with Chris Richard all offseason, what he was saying is that what I want to do is I want to have the quarterback to think before they actually throw the ball. So now the quarterback having their mind and their mental is the fact that now we got a guy that's draped over the DB. The DB is draped over the receiver, and he got to earn for every yard. Now everybody's looking at the last game and saying, okay, Awuzie was getting abused out there, and I would argue the fact that don't sleep on Stafford's accuracy. The guy got a missile, a rocket as for an arm, and he's very accurate on the run, and he's passing to his right. So that's why it looks and it seems as if though Awuzie was getting used and abused. But Awuzie played real tight on the receiver and gave him. They had to earn every pass that was caught. So every
yard,
yeah, they had to earn it. They had to earn every yard that was thrown to them. So this is the thing. With that being said, as much as a lot of people love Deshaun Watson's skill set, I don't think that he's a better passer or thrower of the ball as a Matthew Stafford.
I mean, this stage in his career, no. Right. Could he be potentially with time? Maybe. But I think with him, he is the prototypical dual threat quarterback and everything, you know, drawing comparisons to like a Michael Vick and things like that. That's kind of more his mold and everything. But it's interesting. You brought up Cheeto. So I haven't looked at the updated numbers on this, the updated figures. But going into the Detroit game, because here's the thing. I think Woozy has played well on his coverage and everything, but for whatever reason, like Stafford had 4, 5, 6 passes that just threaded the damn needle to get to him, and I don't think Woozy could have played it any better. But nevertheless, it's a completion going against him, and at this, I think this stat is from before the Lions game, but 22 of 27 passes have been completed against him. That's a 142 QBR. And if you kept that trajectory over the course of a season, that's given up 1,400 yards. So, like, I get it. I think that's the thing. I think he's played well, but some of these completions against him, I think even Russell Wilson had a couple against him like that, where you just look at it and you're like, how the hell did he get that ball to him? You know, like it almost defies logic trying to figure out how that ball got past Cheeto. And I don't think Cheeto's playing it bad. I think you just have to be able to shake that off and, you know, get back on the line and get ready for the next snap. And I think Cheeto's mentally strong enough to deal with that, but it is a weird trend to be looking at, you know, going into week 5 and looking at your second best corner who you feel good about, but seeing those kind of numbers against them.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mentioned all offseason that we really need to take a look at safety play, deep safety play. And those passes, I know that they can be, you know, those stats and everything can be off a little bit when you're talking about the safety giving up the angle and safety giving up big plays. So that may boost that number up even more as far as yardage after the catch and everything like that. But
right, they aren't the full story.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you give me a Woozy in those tight coverages out there, I have yet to see him get like just abused like a Brandon Carr or somebody like that, you know, with all, well, like this guy's like wide open in space. So I would take the Awuzie play, and I think that of course through the course of the years, or through the course of this season, that those quarterbacks are not going to be on the money like that. And then on top of that, if we look at this team, we have yet to get an INT. So we have to really figure out a way. Is this team just cursed and we just can't get an interception, or what's the real deal with that? You know, do you know?
Well, okay, so Dallas is third in the league as a team in sacks, and yet they have the sack leader, and as a team they're third overall. But for whatever reason, they have not been able, and they're getting pressure on the QB too, and usually that translates to interceptions or, you know, tipped passes or just passes thrown under duress. But I really can't see, I don't know if it's like a, you know, phenomenon or what, but I haven't seen really any plays where you see a ball in the air and you say, oh, that's yours for the taking. Oh, he just missed it. You know, this isn't like last year where you had passes going off of Anthony Brown's face mask and off his hands and all of that, where you're like, dude, that was an easy pick. There really hasn't been that. I can think of maybe one that had the Cowboy defender read it accurately at the moment. Like he started to kind of lower his head to go for a hit, thinking the guy was going to catch it. And I guess he lost sight of the ball. If he had sat back where he was, he would have had a play on the ball. But I think that was just in this recent Lions game, and it wasn't even a corner. I think it was Xavier Woods. So I don't know what it is with that. I don't know if it's a weird trend or if it's a fluke or what. But if you get pressure on the quarterback under duress, and that usually makes things easier on your secondary. You could amount part of it to not having a true ball hawk back there. Cheeto is not a ball hawk. He is a tight cover man. Same with Byron. So your top two corners aren't like that. Anthony Brown's not a high pick guy. You don't have a ball hawk. That's really one thing you can amount it to.
Right. Well, let's look at it from this angle, though. I'm always going to try to pull out this right here. The first guy we played, it was against the Carolina Panthers. To me, he didn't have like 300-400 yards on us, but he's a past MVP guy, right?
Yeah.
And then the second guy we played, Eli Manning. I think that we did a good share of beating him up and getting sacks and stuff like that, but he's still a two-time Super Bowl champion. And on top of that too, he does have the wherewithal to at least throw the ball away and not force it in at certain times, And then the third team that we played against a past Super Bowl champion winner. One of his QBRs is like top in the league too. And then we played Matthew Stafford. So those four quarterbacks out of the four, three of them went to the Super Bowl and 2 have Super Bowl rings. So there is not trying to make an excuse for those guys out there not picking the ball off, but they protected the ball well. And the only person that we could have said, okay, should have at least had an interception off of was the Eli Manning. We should have at least got an interception from him and maybe a Matthew Stafford, because he does sling the ball around, and we do know that he can be sometimes careless with the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Do you want to run through any quick shout outs or anything we have here?
Oh, yes. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to someone that's on my YouTube page. I always like to give a shout out to the first person that's in the mix. Shout out to Daniel Mazza. Thank you for tuning in. You first and second place. That let me know that you part of the notification squad. And everybody know that I LOVE the notification squad. I love this, man. And Zach, you third place. Got to step it up, man. He said D-Law over Watt in Clowney. Oh, wow, man.
There you go.
Some bold proclamations. I like that. Go ahead. What you got over there?
Let's see. On YouTube, first guy in, we got The League of Their Own. We got Gillette in the house. Stevie Mac 23. What's up, guys? Facebook over here. Let's see. We got Zaire Jacobs, DeAndre Skinner, and Josh Snyder. What's up, guys? Those are the 2 prospect YouTube and Facebook pages.
Oh, yeah.
So, and there's Marcelo B. What's up?
Thank you all for tuning in to the nation, man, as we talk about the Dallas Cowboys versus the Houston. Also, we live on Big Game James page, Silver and Blue, the Dallas Prospect. Every legend was once a prospect.
Are we live on Cowboys Experience by chance?
Yes, we're live on Cowboys Experience.
This might be a time then for us to mention the whole experience we had this past weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like it might be appropriate.
Go ahead and dive into it and let them know how do you enjoy the experience.
So the whole thing with them, the Cowboys Experience brought out Law Nation, myself. Hey, we got James in the house.
Yo,
what's up?
What up?
Nothing much, man.
Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
Okay. So Cowboys Experience brought out Law, myself, Big Game James, Vach Lombardi, kind of just to experience what they offer as far as their access and everything regarding the team, the players, the game, all that. So they had what would the right word be for it? You wouldn't say like pep rally or whatever. Saturday at Lava Cantina in the Colony, they had
like a meet and greet session.
Yeah. That's a better way to put it. So they had like Bryce Butler, Chidobe Awuzie, Jeff Heath, and Drew Pearson out there at the event for a meet and greet, autograph stuff, giveaways, things like that. But, hey, we actually got Drew Pearson on the show for a few minutes to give a short interview, so that was really cool. We got to hold one of the Cowboys Super Bowl trophies. That was extra cool. And Saturday, hanging out with them, interacting with the fans and everyone who came out for that, interacting with the players a little bit. I know James got photos with like Bryce Butler and Cheeto. Really, really cool experience there. And then Sunday for the game, they brought us out first for like their pregame tailgate party and everything like that. Buffet, drinks, and all that. That was cool. And then we went to the Miller Lite Club, which is like a field level kind of club, right by where the players, like basically the tunnel to the locker room for the Cowboys players. So that was cool as well. You see them come in, see them come out. You're right behind the Cowboys bench, field level, see pretty much everything with that regard. It's cool because it gives you more context. James and I were talking about this, how you could actually see Dak talking with his receivers on the sideline and everything, and it kind of just showed you his leadership qualities and things like that I think some fans might kind of take for granted because you don't always see that on the game if you're just watching the broadcast. So really cool getting that level of access and everything, and you're they treated us like pretty much like family the whole weekend there, the Cowboys Experience. So the cool thing about that is they actually offer that same nightclub and all that stuff on the game day itself. They got all those prices and stuff like that. But basically the idea was they brought us out, let us see what the experience was all about, because if we knew how good it was, then we would be more than willing to tell people, hey, that was really awesome. Like, as a Cowboys fan, that was about as awesome experience as I can remember.
No doubt, man. That's some good stuff. James, man, what's good, man?
What's up with y'all, big dog? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, man. You live like 95, man. What's good?
Oh, what's good, dog? Just got in from work, chilling, you know what I'm saying? Catching the end of what y'all was talking about. Shoot, I'm ready. Whatever. What's good? Let's do it.
Yes, indeed, man. We was talking about the Cowboys Experience, being able to interact with the players and get your memorabilia signed and stuff like that, and hanging and kicking it out with the original 88. I'm talking about the legend. I'm talking about the guy that put on that 88, man, on the jersey. The guy that's going to bring the thunder out there, too. And when you come out there live at the Cantina, we're going to have another event, not this weekend, but next weekend. We're going to have a surprise guest out there. So I want you guys to get locked, loaded, and ready and be out there at the Lava Cantina. If you don't know how to get there, just type in Lava Cantina Plano, and it'll put you right there at the doorstep, and we'll welcome you guys in with open arms so that you guys can have the full-fledged experience out there with the Cowboys Nation. But, James, we want to talk about this matchup, man. We want to get back to football, man.
Yes, sir.
Right. We want to talk about the Honey Badger, what he gonna do, because we already ran around on everything else, and what Clowney gonna do, Watts gonna do, and also Watson. We want to talk about that. And I ain't talking about Randy Watson. I'm talking about Deshaun Watson. What they gonna do, man? What's on your mind with that?
Well, I've been saying from day one. Well, not day one. I would say from last week. I was saying I heard some people were talking about Deshaun Watson, said he wasn't the same guy he was last year. He fell off a little bit, woo. I think people need to keep that quiet because, I mean, he's having a respectable year right now. I mean, he's got a quarterback rating of 93.5. 1,200 yards already, 7 touchdowns. Yeah, he's still 4 interceptions, but he's kind of going to be I thought he was going to be a guy that would throw INTs in the league just because of the way he gambles and just the way he plays. But he's a threat. He's a big threat. He usually doesn't always hit his first read. He never kind of goes at that first read. He kind of just – he's kind of one of those, just like what his coach was saying at Clemson. He's like a Michael Jordan type player. Like as far as he's 1 minute he could have a struggling for 2 quarters. And is that my dude? 1 minute he'll be struggling for 2, maybe 3, 2.5 quarters, and then he'll light you up. That's what Deshaun Watson does. And then at the simple fact that he's a leader, the team rallies behind him, and at any given time, he can kill you. And I think that's the biggest threat that I worry about with Deshaun is that, he can be struggling in the game and then he could hit you for a 60, 70-yard bomb. And next thing you know, they're right back in it. And even though Lamar Miller hasn't had a great year, I think he only has like 230-some yards rushing, he still is a fast threat. He still has that out speed where he can break it out. So you got to just keep your eye on him. Of course, we're definitely going to talk about DeAndre Hopkins. I definitely feel like he's going to present a problem. I feel like he's going to get his catches against us. I don't think we're going to be stopping him getting 3 catches for 30 yards.
Bro, we got Byron Jones out there, man.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay, we got Byron Jones and all that good stuff, but they got DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, so Byron Jones.
Watson is trash, fam.
Man, I don't want to hear none of that mouth you talking with that. I don't care. You smelling all that? You drinking all that Kool-Aid with Byron Jones? Okay, Byron Jones is good. Byron Jones is good. Byron Jones is not great. You hit Byron Jones with a arm in his chest and hit him to the inside slant, you'll get passes on him. They just ain't did it yet, but I guarantee you'll get passes on him. The reason why Byron Jones has been killing people is because they've been doing a lot of long routes, slant routes, and 9 routes on him, and that's one of his fortes because he's long and he's got the speed.
CDP, this man been acting this way ever since I smoked him on the show last.
You ain't smoked me nowhere in no time. You ain't never smoked me. Shut the hell up. You ain't never smoked me. So shut the hell up.
It was cool, man.
Ain't smoked Jack.
On the real though, fam, Deshaun Watson will miss that first read, duck his head, get nervous, and scramble. And
that's what I said.
I'm totally agreeing with you. And he might throw us 1 or 2 interceptions. So I hope our DB is getting ready. I expect a lot of cover 3 looks from us.
But can you agree with this though? I've said it before. Chidobe Awuzie and Byron Jones are not high NT guys. They are sticky coverage guys, but they've never were that in college, and they're not going to be that in the pros. So hopefully, maybe we'll get one Jeff Heath or something.
Well, they're not ball hog guys. They're not IQ guys. They're big physical gangsters. You know what I mean? So they run with people. But nah, I mean that's cool. I mean it's fine because pass rush exists. David Irvin will be back. Will Fuller. Fast ass ain't gonna be on the field, you know what I mean?
That's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge, man. So maybe we can not get so deep and tighten up that defense a little bit. I ain't got long. I just wanted to come through, say what's up. Shouts out to Cowboys XP. Barry, what's good, fam? All that. What's good, Joe?
What's good, man? Hey, who's the tight end for the Texans?
Some scrub with a long name. Who cares, man? It don't matter.
Because, see, this is the thing. If we still going with that cover 2 look, man, the weakness of the cover 2 slants and vertical seam routes.
We be all right. We got young Van Der Esch and Jalen in there. We good to go.
How we going to slow down Clowney and JJ? You going to run at them? Are they a 3-4 team or they a hybrid 4-3? What are they?
They 3-4 by trade, but they 4-3 by design. So JJ is going to give you a lot of 3-tech looks, 3-tech head up, 4 looks or whatever, and that's fine. I don't mind JJ on Zach, but they may throw you a doozy and put him on Connor.
They are going to put him on Connor. Don't say they're going to throw you a doozy. You know that's what they're going to do.
Ryan,
he's going to slide. He's going to slide his ass right over there and get right over him.
Ever since I smoked him on the show last.
Stop it. Hey, say what you know. What I know why you came on here because you heard I was on here and you missed me.
I will say this though.
Tight end is Ryan Griffin.
I will say this: 2018 JJ ain't 2015 JJ.
We understand this, but still.
Agreed. But he's still got like 5 sacks through 4 games, so you still got to account for him. He'll be lined up with Lyle Collins.
Cutting me off and everything, man. James, you all right, man?
I love you.
Okay. Likewise, man. Likewise. I ain't got long, man. I just wanted to come in and say what's up, speak my piece, and just, you know what I'm saying?
Well, since you don't got long, then go ahead and put it on wax. What you got down for the score prediction then?
I'm not Cleo Lombardi.
I forgot you don't do that.
I am not Vostradamus.
Hey, Law, we got him to give one prediction at the game. I don't remember which one it is. Do you remember, James? Man, you were asking him like a specific stat, and you got him to slip up and give a prediction.
Yeah, he gave a prediction.
No way.
He realized it quick too.
Can I say it with his prediction? It was
6 sacks and 4 touchdowns from Doe.
It was one of those bold predictions.
Oh, bold prediction.
Okay,
give me a bold prediction for Ezekiel.
Yeah, bold prediction.
I just want to block the Mike linebacker. We can do that. I don't care about nothing else, man. Nothing else matters as long as we block the Mike linebacker. Andrew Luck just threw another interception, man. Long as we block the Mike and run the football, I'm good to go.
What about your son?
My son, Michael Gallup. I mean, which son? Because I got Gallup and Connor.
I'm telling you, man, you got to slow down, man.
They're twins. They're twins.
Your son number 13. What are you going to do, man?
Mike is cool. I mean, we seem to be throwing him the most deep balls out of anybody. He seems to be the one that can get the separation. We just got to finish. We got to finish and catch it. I would like to see Tavon on the field more. I don't want too much receiver rotation. If we can get like Gallup, Tavon, and Bees, like I'm good with that.
No doubt, Dan. No doubt. Good. Vach, man. Appreciate you for jumping in, man. Unless you want to stay hang around a little bit longer, it's all on you, man.
I had a day job tomorrow, fam. You know how I go. I just saw the link in the Twitter machine. I just wanted to show love and dip out. Big James, quit hating, man.
I love you, dog.
Salute, fam. All y'all my family, and we proved it last weekend. Salute to y'all.
Yes, you got to tell them where they can follow you at and all that stuff.
Hey, make sure before you finish that, Vosh, make sure you keep on doing that link like you did the All 22. It finally posted.
Okay, for sure. Check it out. Check out my offense when I break down the film every Tuesday. This time it was Wednesday because I had family in town. But every Tuesday I break down the Cowboys win. I did say win because that's what I predict. We're going undefeated the rest of the year. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube, Facebook, all that. Voch Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI, Cowboy XP. Salute.
Yes, indeed, man. That's my guy, Voch Lombardi, man. Y'all go out and join the party over there with Voch Lombardi. Big Game James, man.
Yo,
what I got thinking, man. Talk to me.
I was just looking at a few things. Just when we were talking about Deshaun Watson, what I am going to look at is they are going to throw the ball. If you look at his attempts, he's averaging around close to 36, 37 attempts a game. He had 34, 32, 40, and 42. Throwing for 300 yards in 3 of those games. So he's going to throw the ball. So that's what we have to be aware of. But also, we talked about I posted a stat where he's on pace for 68 sacks this year. He's had 7 last week against Indianapolis, and I'm not scared of Indianapolis's defense. Are you? And that's 7 sacks on them. Giants 3, Tennessee 4, New England 3. So the odds are good for us to still get after him, even though he's a scrambling quarterback. And just like Voch said, that and I said it earlier as well, that he doesn't look at that first read because he's quick to put that head down and start running and scrambling. You see what I mean? So I feel like when we were doing, I really feel like we got to blitz him. I know I don't want to be too cautious with him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if we get cautious, and I know we're going to have David Irvin back, and that's going to be huge, and DeMarcus Lawrence, I feel like they're going to get pressure. But I still feel like we need to send blitzes against him and not give him that time to make a big play. Get after him and make him make a quick decision and pressure him and put that pressure on him, because Deshaun Watson will turn the ball over. That was one of his knocks coming out of Clemson, was that he threw a lot of interceptions. And if you saw his last couple of years, he did that. So you can get INTs from him. It's just that we got to make timely blitzes. And when we get the blitzes, we cannot miss them like on a missed tackle or anything, because that's where you can kill him too.
Absolutely. And something to give a little context to what you just said as well. I cited it earlier. The Texans have allowed quarterback pressures on Watson on 44% of their total snaps. So that goes even further to your point. You can get the pressure on him. I think this is going to be a more aggressive Dallas defense than we saw this past week with regard to blitzing.
Yeah.
DDP, man, any news, any words on number 94? Is he going to be out there? I heard he was somewhere.
He'll be out there. His appointment today was more related to the standard. What was the best way to put it? It's basically his standard meetings and everything that he has to check in. Perfect word. That's what I was looking for.
You just checking in, dog. We just making sure you all right. We just making sure you peeing clean, and we making sure your mind is right. That's all that is.
I don't like this. I don't like
100%.
I don't like it.
It's through the whole season, man. We're gonna have to just live with it.
Yeah,
this isn't like an impromptu one. This is like scheduled ahead of time, and we knew that it would take him away from certain Wednesday practices.
Oh, so it's only on Wednesday in the middle of the week.
It can happen with, I don't know. It can happen whatever. I don't know. I got to find the logistics of it, but we got to remember he's in stage 3. He's not in stage 1. He's not in stage 2. He's in stage 3, which is the worst, the most stringent one. So we got to already just feel like that this is a guy kind of like when somebody was a crackhead. I'm just keeping it real. They were a crackhead and you put them in, you're always going to be worried about if they're going to steal something, if they're going to go back. So they're going to have that strict recovery setting because it is a hard road for him.
Yeah.
So the level of production, what they doing is they putting them on third downs, and we have yet to see any like wanted like production out there on the field with him, because we just seeing him just not getting the most amount of snaps. So I don't know, man.
He's okay.
He's okay. He's cool.
He's okay, man. You got to think. This is
right.
what I will say this about Randy Gregory. What I feel just from the outside looking in, I think Randy is an emotional person. You can kind of see he's the type of guy I feel like you always got to keep kind of talking to him. Mm-hmm. You got to keep always motivating him. You always got to stay, because Randy looks like the type of player that he'll drift. He looks like he'll drift in the game. So when you see like what's going on with Randy, I don't think it's not going to be the ability. It's the mental. It's the mental thing with Randy Gregory. And so that's why we always have to make sure they're staying around and keep him positive, because he was having those problems before. And let's say that he's maybe not getting a sack. You don't think he may self-doubt himself? And then what if he goes into depression? And you get what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how those things start. So this isn't just a football game where we're dealing with Randy Gregory. This is an off the field thing that Randy has to deal with. So we have to have that in consideration when we see him on the field, especially first time 4 games after being off the field for 2 years. You know, we were all excited in the preseason, but I guess we have to understand it is preseason, and this is a whole different ball game, the regular season. So we should just temper our expectations, much like we did with Jalen Smith when he came back from injury last year. Now you're starting to see the reap and the benefits of it. I think we should look at the same thing with Randy Gregory.
What about number 95? Should we do the same thing? Should we?
Hell to the no. He came in last year against Green Bay, got 2 sacks. I want to see that again.
DDP, man, what you got, man, on number 95? You think he's going to do like what he did last year? Because last thing I saw from last year, he didn't play the last 4 games. So we've been
correct.
300. How many days? How many days since the last time he played an NFL game?
Oh man, you're getting real niche on me here.
I know you got you got it. I know you got the numbers, man.
I don't have his number of days since his last game, but I can tell you this: he missed his first 4 last season with a suspension for PEDs. He played then the next 8 games, racked up 7 sacks in 8 games, missed the last 4 with a concussion. So he hasn't played since basically the end of November, approximately, last season. So it's been nearly a year since he's actually been on the field in a game. And I mean, here's the thing. He had 2 sacks in his first game last year when he came back against Green Bay. And that's the thing for this. I think he can replicate to some degree that success. I'm not going to say he's going to have 2 sacks, but I think that he can replicate it in the sense that I think our defensive line is even nastier this year than it was last year when he returned. Last year, you had D-Law tearing it up, but you didn't have a whole lot going on in the first couple games outside of D-Law last year. D-Law was the story, and then once Irving showed up, it was like, okay, now you have a 2-headed monster, and that really, for the most part, kind of carried the line as a whole last year, at least through the first half of the season especially. And now this year, even though you still have D-Law, who's the monster, you still have more, I think, capable players in the rest of the defensive line and the starters and the rotation in general than you had last year. So bringing D Irving back into this mix and having like a Randy Gregory out there that you can throw out there from time to time in pass rush situations, I think that's huge because, yeah, Gregory hasn't been able to produce a whole lot this season yet, but now it gets even easier for him with regard to matchup because now you got the second best guy accounted for as well, or you got another guy who's drawing who can, if he's wrecking the game, draw a double team. And there you go. Now suddenly you've got the look you need. So it's all kind of predicated on, it's a chain reaction, right? So if that can work out, then yeah, you'll see something from Gregory show up. But I fully expect in this game in particular, given how bad Houston's offensive line is, you might see some David Irving in the backfield, whether it's tackles for loss on a running back or getting right up in Watson's face.
No doubt. James, man, what are you having thoughts on, man?
Man, I'm just really I'm really looking at this offensive line. I heard quite a few people saying that it's not J.J. Watt of old, and, you know, Jadeveon Clowney has a little bit of an injury bug. But at the end of the day, like I said, I just really, really feel like we're going to see that JJ going right over Connor Williams. I feel like they know that they are going to try to exploit it heavily. I feel like they are going to move him around, but I feel like he's really going to attack La'el Collins and Connor Williams all game.
They're going to kick him inside then.
Yeah, he's going to move around those two guys because those two guys haven't had the best year. Now, I'm not saying Connor Williams has had a bad year. I'm saying he has struggled, and he still is, to me, 295 pounds. And when you're going against a guy who of the caliber of J.J. Watt, he may not be the same guy, but he's still savvy. He's a veteran now. He knows moves. He knows how to go against young players. He knows those type of things. So they're going to key on stopping Ezekiel Elliott. This is another game where I said it on our show, the Silver and Blue Nation, Tuesday, that honestly I wouldn't mind seeing a shootout. I know our defense did woo-to-woo. Yeah, we want to shut them down. I don't mind getting a lot of sacks, but I wouldn't mind a shootout. I would love to see a shootout with Dak and Watson going at it blow for blow. I want to see Dak have another big game. This is a game where I wouldn't mind seeing Dak Prescott. I know we want to run Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, we're going to run the ball, but I wouldn't mind seeing Dak Prescott getting a 300-yard game in a hostile environment against the Houston Texans, because that's going to be huge. We would have a lot. I beg to say that we would have a lot different feelings if Dak goes in there and throws for like 330 in Houston against them.
It'd be his first 300-yard game if he did that since the Cowboys went to the Giants in December last year. I think it was like the third from last game.
Right. So I want to kind of see him kind of air it out, and you know, because let's look at it. The Texans secondary is trash. We went against the Lions secondary, who was one of the top ones. It's the exact opposite when you come against the Houston Texans. They don't have that formidable secondary like the Lions did, or the ranking, so we can definitely get the ball off on them.
No doubt. The only person we had to worry about is the Honey Badger, and he's going to be.
He ain't the same guy.
He's going to have his hands full. Yeah, you're right. He's not the same guy, but it's different when you're playing at home. You got that crowd behind you. We'll see though. And we want Cowboys Nation. I want everybody down there who's close to Houston to put on that silver and blue and get down there in that stadium. Let's rock that stadium. Let's rock that stadium.
Crazy.
Let's let them know that we are the real deal Holyfield. We the team that's out there. We the real Texas team, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's our little brother, and that's the way it always will be. But you know what? They have a problem with it. Matter of fact, I went to a game when we had the game last year when we played Philly, and Philly beat us. I was walking down. There was like 3 Texans fans, and the whole time they were up there talking trash. I'm like, why'd you come to this game? You know what I'm saying? You got a Texans. I don't care. I don't hate y'all, my cousin up here, but we can't wait to play y'all next year. So they was already had in their mouths about next year. You know what I'm saying? They hate Dallas. Houston hates Dallas. That's a fact. Always been, even with the Houston Oilers. They hate the Cowboys.
Oh, so looking up.
Same way in basketball too. They still trash talk the Mavericks.
It's crazy. And that stadium is going to be nuts. Do y'all hear me? Like Seattle was crazy, man. The other 2 games not so much, but that Seattle game, you know how crazy it was. That's how it's going to be in that Houston game, and they're going to play off that emotion, folks. They're going to play off that. So we have to really play strong. Like I said, 3 things that we cannot happen: missed tackles, missed blocking assignments, the little things. We can't have those little problems, the false starts. We get a first down, holding, blah, blah, blah. We have to play a real technical and fundamentally sound game. That's my biggest key for us. Fundamentally sound.
Yeah, we still are a young team, so we're going to have to move that excuse out the way and be ready for this game. And I said last time I was on live, I was saying that the leaders of this team, and you guys was there close. Thanks, shout out to the Cowboys Experience. You guys was there close, and you guys got a chance to see Ezekiel Elliott. You got a chance to see Dak Prescott. So those guys on the road now, they're going to have to pick that up and still have that same fortitude of their mind to be a leader out there and to push everybody and let them know, like, hey, we can't get no bonehead plays right here. We can't get those bonehead penalties to call against us. We got to figure out a way to keep the momentum on our side.
No, absolutely. And speaking of guys that can kind of change up the momentum, what do you guys think about the Texans wide receiver Kiki Coutee from Texas Tech? Last game was the first time they implemented him, and he had
that boy is fast.
He had 11 catches in his debut.
Is fast. Okay, he is fast. And we were thinking about Vach was mentioning Miller that is hurt. But that kid right there, he has get up. They did a couple reversals from him, and if you aren't nowhere near, I mean, you better listen. Listen to me, Cowboys. Watch that damn tape of him. Keep your eye on him, because once he gets the ball and he gets any kind of space, he gone.
Yes, and I did a film session on him. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh my gosh.
I did it. And also his uncle reached out to me. He said, hey, bruh, the Dallas Cowboys need to draft this kid, you know. And we seeing what he doing out there on the field, man.
Dude, he got wheels.
And hey, Pat Mahomes used to throw to him down there in Texas, right? Texas Tech.
Yep.
Right.
That was part of the absurd Oklahoma versus Texas Tech game where between Baker's yards passing and Mahomes, it was like 1,200 yards of passing or something in the game.
Wow.
It was like Mahomes had like 700 yards passing and Baker had like 565 or something.
Hey, Law.
What's up?
Hey, dog. You know that film breakdown you did of Van Der Esch?
Right.
You did it the night before, right?
The night before, yeah.
Right. You know that Browdinger got that same play.
Oh, no. No, he got the same play where he knifed through there and he had the guys. Yeah,
and you know where you were highlighting Van Der Esch, where he made the one tackle and he got blocked and he still got him with the one arm, and you were saying the things that look good and you broke it down. I looked on NFL Network and they broke down that same exact play.
No way. The intangibles, the things that you just don't see.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Baldy's breakdown. It's on NFL Network.
And I said the four-letter network won't post it. But I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to go up against last year.
They'll only post it if they took the idea from you.
Hey, I came up with the idea.
Like you did it, and they can't. I know, that's what I'm saying, because I was looking like, dang, they did this right after him. I was like, man, Law, you should have went on there and retweeted like, yeah, thank you for watching thank you for tuning in for the Law Nation session, because I did that yesterday.
Did it yesterday.
That's what you should have said to him. Thanks, Baldy, for watching me.
Yeah, you know, the NFL Network and shout out to him though. Shout out to the NFL Network and shout out to ESPN, the four-letter network, all those guys out there. I was the first person to put out there the every sack video and the every run video by Ezekiel Elliott when he first came out. The NFL, the YouTubes of the world, they're never thinking about doing that. And then when I started doing it, then all of a sudden I said, man, why I can't post it no more?
Yeah.
And then I looked up in the NFL, ESPN and all of them, they had the every run by Ezekiel Elliott of game one. I'm sitting there like, oh, wow. But it is what it is, man. You know, they got they're the big brothers out there. So I'm the little guy. And shout out to them, man. Appreciate them for getting the nice ideas and clever thoughts out there. And football is football. So moving a little bit further on down, man, what do you feel like? Who's going to cover Kiki? Do you love me? Are you wrong?
Man.
I definitely don't want to see Anthony Brown. Please, no. And Jordan, Hip Pocket Lewis, I don't know. I mean, our weakness is our nickel corners, man.
Well, I think the problem is, here's the thing. The reason why, and it's not fair to me that Jordan's getting this rap, and I'm not just saying that to protect him or anything, but he's not a freaking slot corner. I've been said it from day one. He's not a slot corner. He's a starting outside corner. He wasn't that at Michigan. If you watch the tape, you did not see him at the slot. That's not what he is. So he struggles in the slot because he's not that type of corner. He's better when he can get up on you sticky. When you're playing that slot position, it's a whole different world from playing on the outside, because that's why not everybody can play the slot. So he's not that's his position, so he's going to struggle. So I wonder if they're going to try to exploit that matchup. And Anthony Brown has that type of speed, but he doesn't have the ball skills or the ball sense to know where it's at. So I wonder about how they're going to do it. I definitely want us to keep wary of those reverses or when they send him in motion for those little jet sweeps, because he can make and break plays. So guys have to stay home and contain.
Yeah. And if we had if Jeff Heath, if he's going to play.
Oh, Lord, this dude.
As far as I know, he is playing currently.
Man, the
After
only
5
thing that I can
years,
think of,
you're still taking bad angles, though.
Yeah, he had like 3 or 4 of those in that game, not even including when he got trucked by Kerryon Johnson.
You feel me? Like,
yeah, that first Golden Tate touchdown, again, it would have been like inside the 5, but that was ooh.
And that's what you and the frustrating part is that's you're going to see that at him continuously. You have not cleaned that up after 5 years, bruh.
Yeah,
that's
he's an infuriating player in the sense that he can make the most clutch plays, but then he'll make the most fundamentally like,
oh my gosh, that's why
inexcusable plays.
Yes, inexcusables.
That's why he works better. I mean,
off the bench.
Yeah, we looked at that in the Green Bay game, the playoff game, when he had one interception,
two.
Second one called off. Yeah. By a completely irrelevant play. So yes, we look at those and we say, well, that's why he needs to be playing. Well, that's clutch moments. That's one of his clutch moments. And through the majority of the time, you see these moments where he'll take a bad angle or he'll break down for a tackle prematurely, as was the case with that first Golden Tate touchdown. And it doesn't make sense, some of the things he does. But for the current state of our safeties, I love Xavier Woods. I think he's got a high ceiling. But with the current state of the safeties, he's probably your best safety, regardless if you play him strong or free right now. That's the problem, and that's why the Earl Thomas talk was so hot at the time. Like for the last
Xavier Woods is getting used and abused out there on the field as relates to coverage. So
yeah, I mean he's a 6th round. Yeah, he's a 6th round guy, and he was more known for being able to hit. Now he can get interceptions as well. He's got a knack for that. He showed that at Atlanta last year with that diving interception.
He had 14 in his career in college.
Yeah, no, I mean he's a guy that definitely has that potential to him. It's just one of those things where he's going to have to continue to grow and develop, and I think he can turn into one of those, but this is his first year being a starter. It's just one of those things where you got to get him a little what's the word? You don't want to be more green, a little more seasoned, let's just say that. Go for a different expression.
I think you know what the problem is. This is where Xavier Woods would have benefited from an Earl Thomas coming to Dallas.
Yes.
Because now Earl Thomas can teach him the game, whereas Jeff Heath and Kayvon Frazier are not guys that I'm going to sit there and say, Xavier Woods learned from these guys. Because, number one, Kayvon Frazier's only in his 2nd year. He didn't play last year. He played more special teams. And then you have Jeff Heath, who's been he's really a career backup that's been forced to start because we haven't had anybody else back there. And just like you said, DDP, he's getting forced minutes. You can't make everybody a starter. You DDP, you do the Dallas Mavs. You know how it is. Everybody ain't a starter. You can have guys who are better off the bench.
Yeah.
A guy can get you 15, 16 points off that bench, but then you put him as a starter, he's going to struggle and get you like 6 or 7. You're like, why he ain't playing good? Because he ain't a starter. He ain't got that starter mentality. And some people don't play good with that pressure, but some people play good when they're in that spot position. All that pressure isn't on them.
JJ Barea. Oh, my bad.
Exactly.
Hey, Barea getting injected in the starting lineup won the Mavs a title. Can't tell me different. But there's the Mavs talk for the day. But I agree. That was why the Earl Thomas talk was so hot for all the past year, and now it's going to be tabled until at least the offseason. Sounds like his injury is a clean break, so it's not going to be long-term affecting. It's just going to probably cost him a fair chunk of money, and that sucks for him. That shows the kind of the problems or the flaws with the system and how it's currently constructed. But it is what it is. They're going to have to figure out safety for themselves, which means you're going to be looking at some combination, depending on health, of Jeff Heath, Xavier Woods, and Kayvon Frazier. I like Frazier playing up more close up to the line of scrimmage, kind of that Cam Chancellor role where he's really more like another linebacker. If you see him in coverage, you have breaks like you had at Seattle, that 51-yarder to Tyler Lockett. You're going to have to adjust for that and hope that you use him sparingly, because that's always a threat in that situation. If you have Xavier Woods, I think he's got a high ceiling, but I think he's a little raw right now in that perspective, just because he hasn't started very much, hasn't had a whole lot of time in the league yet. So it's something that you're just going to have growing pains with him, I think. So Jeff Heath is best you got right now.
Yeah, we ain't got no other choice. So you just got to run with it.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Approaching the final minutes, man. We got to give our predictions. Which one of you guys want to go first?
DDP.
Oh, gonna throw it straight to me, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
you know,
see. Let's see.
before you finish that, before you jump into that DDP, you know, we're gonna chop it up a little bit before we get off the show about that OU Texas thing.
Yeah, no, I think there is an important game.
Your head in today. Yeah, we're gonna beat your head in this time, buddy.
I mean,
so
you know, hey,
I don't care. Just so you know.
Just so you know, it's been over 1,000 days since Texas.
I don't give a hell if it's been 300. Y'all escaped last year. Y'all been getting lucky the last few years, and you know
if it's been like 300.
You ain't been blowing us out. You've been getting there lucky, and we've been killing ourselves. We gonna smack your faces in. Where with your prediction now?
Did you say if it had been 300? I said 1,000, son.
I don't give a hell.
4 digits.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, the world is about to be a new thing, and when we win, be prepared to get ready.
We'll see how that turns out. But back to Cowboys here. My prediction. So based on what I was laying out, if we have to end up relying, like James said, on a kind of a race as far as a track meet as far as scoring and all that, I think that does not favor Dallas with its offense. I do think that the Texans have a bad secondary and that you can do some things, but I don't think it's just going to be the magic fix-all. I think Dallas's identity is based so much around the run. You're not going to have Dak slinging it around too much more than we saw this past week, which, hey, 250, that's not bad for him. That's probably about the standard Dak you would hope. I'm going to go on and say Dallas 19-13.
19-13.
Yep.
Good year. All right, so I can't argue that. And Aaron on the Aaron Williams, he said 24-20. Hot Boys.
All right.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube page. And shout out to Jamal Anderson, Live Light 95 on my Facebook. Big game, James. What you got, man?
I'm gonna say this is gonna be a high scoring game. I think I'm not going to say that our offense is going to have, we're going to have this big game and now we're rolling for the rest of the year. Nope. This is going to I feel like this is going to be one of them games where we just get off a lot of points. And I'm going to say we win 31-28. Okay. And I feel like it's going to be a shutout because I feel like Watson is going to do his thing. I feel like we're not going to really I don't feel like he's going to go nuts, but I feel like he's going to get his yards. If Stafford can throw 300 yards on us, Deshaun Watson's going to get his dog. I just think he is. And I feel like he's going to have those games where he might just kind of show out. So I feel like it's going to be a shootout. And I feel like Dak is going to raise his level of the game because it's his friend. He's going against his friend. They're close in years as far as when they came out in the draft. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he's going to take that a little bit more of a personal thing. And I feel like he may in my opinion, I think he's going to get a 300-yard game, and I'm gonna jump out on there. When we do bowl predictions, you'll hear that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that's definitely possible for sure. I mean, I think he's more than capable of doing that. Dallas is just going to have to see what they can do to kind of keep it in front of them. Do you have any concern at all with the fact that Dallas, despite years past, I would say you throw out 15 because 15 was just a garbage wash of injury anyway, but 14, 16, 17, even last year, Dallas was like a road warrior team, yet they're 2-0 at home, 0-2 on the road. Does that play any kind of impact for you?
Go ahead, Law.
No, I'm saying it does because one of the things that I like to bring up all the time with this team is that this team is different from those teams because of the fact that it's so young. We don't have that veteran guy. It's like the intangible things that I always like to bring out, the things that we just don't see. And I think that with Jason Witten, he might have told the wide receivers and the tight end and the offensive line, these are the things that you need to do. And on the defensive side of the ball, he might have was able to help them out too. Like, hey, these are the things, the preparation that you got to do. We got to play a clean game. We just never know that the type of motivational speak that he was giving out to the players or how they should react out there on the field as it relates to a away game. So I'm thinking that this team is so young that they feel comfortable playing at home. They have less mistakes out there. So hopefully, since this is I call us a dome team. So by this game being down in Houston, I think that this team should still have this same type of home type of vibe, if that makes any sense. Because I think that they are still a turf team, so I think that they will still be able to get things going in the right direction. So as far as the score prediction, I have this team going 26-18. Go ahead. Big game.
All right, Gary, mine.
You gave your prediction. You gave your prediction.
I gave my prediction. 31-28 shootout.
31-28. Ah, man. What am I thinking? 31-28.
Yeah, man. I feel like
who get the first touchdown?
This is gonna be too big of an atmosphere. Well, I don't know, man. I hope it's us.
If we score first, you think we're gonna defer?
Hey, they did that last week. I was stunned.
Yeah, that was the first time in how many years?
I don't know, but I made a comment the week before when I was live tweeting the game that it's an approximately 15,000% chance that Dallas starts the game with the ball because we win the toss. Garrett always takes it, which never makes sense. It drives me insane. And if the other team wins, they defer it like you should. So when we won and deferred, I literally looked at you guys, you and Vach, and was just like, oh, the atmosphere has changed.
Yes, shout out to
That's going to have a big game.
Money making Malls. He said 30-18 Cowboys. Patrick Edmondson. He said 30-13. So everybody high. If we're gonna get 30 points on the board, man. If that happened, man, I owe you guys.
I got an MVP on Money Matter.
Ho, rewind what you just said.
I got you on beer, man. If that happened, 30-13.
I want liquor. Yeah. I don't want beer. I want liquor. I want some of that hand dog.
It got to be 54-5, 54-7, something like that.
Well, let me go call Dak Prescott and let him know.
Let Dak know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out to the www.Cowboys Experience. Y'all go to that website. They got tons of information out there, man. As far as ticket prices, also travel. You can fly into Dallas, and they'll put you in a nice little hotel. What's it called? Embassy Suites.
Embassy Suites. It is nice. Don't let them lie to you. It's nice.
Nice. And even if they live here, there's options just for the game itself. So there's all kinds of different packages you can do, whether you're in town or out of town.
And I think they put you on a bus with other Cowboys fans, and they drive you all the way to the stadium. You don't have to worry about nothing. Ain't that right? And
it's so right. And the bus driver, I can't remember her exact name, but she's Chocolate. That's what we call her. That's what she wants to be called. She can drive that. She's super cool. Been with Barry forever. Like I said, the bus ride over there is awesome. Beautiful inside. Barry meets you there. I mean, you just feel like, honestly, you feel like you're special. I mean, you feel special when you're up in there, and he makes you feel like you're home. He makes you feel like you're one of everybody, you know. And it's just a great experience, and I can't say nothing but great things about it because it was awesome, man.
Check out their website,
no
man.
doubt.
Yes, indeed. So, big game, man. Tell them where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, definitely. You can check us out here, Silver and Blue Nation. Big game, James. Check us out every Sunday. Obviously, it's going to be a Sunday night game, so make sure you check it out. Also, might have a nice little special, well, not a special guest, but we're going to have a person who may have a special guest, so make sure you check that out. I've been trying to work some magic here lately, so check us out on YouTube, Facebook. My mind is going blank right now. Instagram. There's so many damn Twitter. So many damn sites out there now. You can't remember them all. But the biggest thing is check out our podcast. We're on SoundCloud. We're on iTunes. I really don't listen to our shows every time, but I listen to our show, and man, our voices sound good. Not bragging, just saying. So if you want to listen, the voices sound good. Listen to the voice. The voice make me want me to listen to myself a little more. So it's like I'm just playing, y'all, but jump on there for real though. Check us out. We have a good time. We kick it. Jump on the page, talk about whatever you like, but just don't be disrespectful or I will ban you.
There you go. Yep. Okay. So find us on Twitter at Dallas Prospect, Facebook as well, everywhere else, Instagram, Facebook, all that. We're going to be the Dallas Prospect. Don't forget to check out the website, thedallasprospect.com. And hey, keep an eye out for my articles on Dallas Sports Fanatic. I am the staff Cowboys and Mavericks coverage writer, whatever, for them.
And his writings are good. Please check it out. That damn Maha article is real good.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I've had one or two of them get picked up on Bleacher Report actually, which is pretty sweet. So trying to get back there, figure out the master formula to get back there. But yeah, check out that writing as well. The stuff eventually cross posts to the DallasProspect.com as well. So that's an option, but first the phrase. Whatever, first dibs. There you go. I'll work with that. Always goes to Dallas Sports Fanatics on that. Maverick season's getting fired up here. We just had the first preseason game. Second one's coming up. I've already written my first Mavs piece for them as well, so check that out. And podcast and all that, yeah, same thing as James. SoundCloud, iTunes, Podcast Store, Google Play, all that.
Mm-hmm.
All that good stuff.
No doubt, man. That's some good stuff, man. Hey, guys, I have a podcast too. That's LAW Nation. Go follow that thing. Don't forget to hit that like button. Smash the notification button too once you hit the like button. And then share this content. We live like 95. We go everywhere, man. We everywhere you can think of. When talking about the Cowboys, we there in the mix, man. So with that being said, that's all the time I have for tonight. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening in to Nothing But the Bass. Salute.
Also, every legend was once a prospect.
Yes, indeed.
And I don't got nothing.
You James, man.
We'll find you a catchphrase.
Nah, I'm
good. Let's ride on out, baby. Electric Chicken, I see you. Talking about 37-3. Cowboys, I hear you. If that happened, I'm gonna buy everybody some hen dog.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't let you catch that on air because they'll try to hold you to it.
Oh yeah.
37-3. Yeah, that would be nice, man.
I thought he was saying Electric Chicken was the name of the song. I was real confused.
Electric Chicken is